junkyard dog. Eating junk food all the time, ain't nothing but a junkyard dog. Sick and tired all the time. Well, last year got the flu, and a cold's no friend of mine. Well, everybody, welcome. A few ground rules because you clap. Listen, this is sort of an 8-person, 8-performer show, and we got a 3-man band, and this is the band that you see right here. 3-man, I say the guitar is one of the instruments, my voice the second, and perhaps the projection the third. But I don't want to be the agent of hypocrisy, so I don't want anybody to clap after my numbers. Because if you do, now some of my numbers you will be impressed by, you'll be electrified with how good they are. Some of them, though, are less than good. So if I'm flat or sharp, on key or off key, and you don't clap, it'll make no difference, you see. You won't hurt my feelings, and I won't be the agent of hypocrisy, okay? So we're gonna have a good time this morning. We're gonna talk about the rock and rollers of the 50s and 60s, and we're gonna hear a lot about safety and health. And probably the best way to start this thing was with a guy by the name of Buddy Holly, one of my favorites. One of his first hits way back there in 1958 was something called Rave On. And now all these songs we've adapted the lyrics so that they speak to the topic that we're here to discuss today, safety and health. So, well, the unsafe things we say and do make us sometimes feel real blue. So we'll rave on here about new dealings, and when we leave here we won't be feeling old and worn out, but brand new. Rave on. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you for that. No clapping now, please. I know it's terrific, but this may be one of those one-hit wonders, one-show wonders. It never may be done again. Okay. So I'll take you back. You don't remember this group called the Diamonds. I didn't either, till I found out that they sang a song called The Terror of Highway 101. Now, nobody remembers The Terror of Highway 101. In 1955, and a Canadian group called the Cheers hit 31 out of 100 on the top hits of that year. And The Terror of Highway 101 was a song about a motorcyclist who would ride up and down Highway 101, that's in California, you know. It goes up the West Coast. And, you know, you can go pretty fast. I've been on it, by the way. Probably some of you have on vacation. And this guy, the Terror of Highway 101, I've got a pointer somewhere amongst me, but there's no pockets in this thing, Walt, so I guess it's going to have to stay in my pocket. So here he was. And, you know, nobody remembers this song, but I thought it was a great song. And I'll just give you a little bit of it. Now listen to the lyrics. Well, he wore black denim trousers and motorcycle boots, and a black leather jacket with an eagle on the back. He had a hopped-up sickle that took off like a gun. That fool was the terror of Highway 101. Now the second verse is especially good for Safety and Health Day, because this guy needed to be at our program this morning. It went like this. Well, he never washed his face, and he never combed his hair. He had axle grease embedded underneath his fingernails, and the muscle of his arm was a red tattoo with a picture of a heart saying, "Mother, I love you." Now, what if that song were to be changed for our Safety and Health Day, and we got the terror right here in our audience? I would call it The Terror of NASA Road 1. And so we have adapted the lyrics. I think this is very innovative. So listen to these lyrics this morning. Okay, this is The Terror of NASA Road 1. Well, he wore black Walmart trousers and Marshall discount shoes, and a NASA gift shop t-shirt with a spaceship on the back. He had a 1980s work car from a wager he once won. That fool was the terror of NASA Road 1. Well, his wife pleaded on that day for him to get a safety sticker. Never mind, the tailpipe's gone, he said, and the engine's even sicker. But her words were said in vain, they were all for naught. In the choke and gasp of his engine, in the smoke from his exhaust. Gets better. That work car took off like a rocket on that fateful day. He said, I'll go 1,000 miles before the 40 bucks I'll pay. But he hit a Webster freight that was League City bound. And when they cleared the wreckage, all they found was his black Walmart trousers and NASA. and what's the name of that outfit? Marshall. The laughs are better than claps. And the NASA t-shirt with the spaceship on the back, and they never found the work car that took off like on the racer he had won, and they never found the terror of Highway 101. Well, moving right along. This is an introductory song for our first topic. Hey, you did an excellent job with that topic. I really was impressed. You did a good job. But moving right along with our next song, Peter, Paul, and Mary. Does anyone remember the famous trio? Anybody? Well, see, that's where my age gives me an advantage.
I'm here with you, Jerry.
Okay, you're still with me. Well, they're not a gospel group, you know, Apostle Peter, Paul, and then Mary, the mother of Christ. No, they're not. They're a folk group. And these folks were very popular when I was in college at Rice University. And so we had very few women at Rice. There was a bad ratio for the male students, 4-to-1 males to females. And so what would be done is they would often invite the seniors from Bel Air High School or Lamar to come over, and we'd have a dance in what we called our commons area. So by good fortune, I couldn't believe, I was able to date one of these Bel Air belles. In fact, she was the captain of this team they had that marched in the middle of football, a beautiful woman. And so what I wanted to do is really impress her. So I knew Peter, Paul, and Mary's coming to town. I bought 2 tickets. Cost me $10 for 2 tickets in those days. And we went to the show. Well, here's one of the numbers that was done in the show, and I think it's appropriate for our show today. It's called About a Dog Named Blue. You know, I can barely see my notes. Has there something changed? Well, had me a dog and his name was Blue. Had me a dog and his name was Blue. Had me a dog and his name was Blue. Bets $5 he's a good dog too. Singing here, Blue. Well, you're a good dog, you. Well, now you know pets. You can overfeed pets. You can feed them junk food. You can fail to exercise them, just like we do with our own bodies. And so we could use this song as sort of a teaching tool today. We could modify it. And we could take this very simple, wonderful, kind of a children's song and an unscrupulous Safety and Health Day modifier of folk songs could take it, and he could make it into a rock and roll song. Oh, unscrupulous modifier, you. And it would sound something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, I had me a dog and his name was Blue. I bet you $5 he's a good one too. Woo! Wow, wow, wow. Well, Blue, my darling, why did you leave me, sweetheart? Maybe because I overfed you. Jumped on the table. I'm sorry, my dear Blue, that I So I lay home alone at night, looking for some trace of you, my darling. Come back, my blue. I want you, blue. I need you, blue. Blue. And here she is. Mary fell out of the group, and Kim replaced her. Kim Tyree, Queen of the Hop. And so she's going to give us a talk on home safety. And I apologize, Kim. Go ahead. I think, Grady, you're great. You're really, your understatement really entertained us. But this is a problem that calls for song. And here's the song. You may remember this guy, Johnny Cash. Make a point here. Most of these performers from the 50s and 60s, unfortunately, they're no longer with us for different reasons, some of which are related to what we're talking about today. For example, Roy Orbison, he died at a rather young age of a coronary heart attack. A man by the name of Elvis Presley, of course, who I'm embodying here this morning, passed on prematurely, eating different things, and those that didn't succumb to overeating or drinking or some other problem, accidents caught them. Ricky Nelson, we're going to have a song by him, had a accident in an airplane. They were doing an inappropriate thing with a fire heater or something in the back of the aircraft, and of course it went down. And then there's Buddy Holly and Big Bopper, and of course, who was the third guy? Richie Valens. They were trying to make a gig, and in really terrible weather, shouldn't have been flying. Of course, they call that the day that music died, because what a talent Buddy Holly and those other guys were, and so they're no longer with us. And so, with that happy note, let me sing this. This is a song by a guy by the name of Johnny Cash, and it has to do with what might happen if you don't keep a safe office. I fell into a burning ring of fire. I went down, 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 and the flames went higher, and it burned. Well, that's hard to get that. Burns, 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 the ring of fire, the ring of fire. I think I can do better with this one. We're going to have a topic here now. It's one everybody's going to enjoy. It has to do with nutrition, and it's going to be especially enjoyable because of the presenters that are given it. Not Conway Twitty, but Conway is a guy, does anybody remember? He started out as a rock and roller, and Mike shared with me that he wasn't making it in that particular genre, so he moved over to country and western when he became a very famous C&W artist. And I remember Conway. Here again, I took a date to hear Conway Twitty. I was a 13-year-old, I think 8th grader, and we went over to the Hammond Civic Center, 3,500 seats, and my girlfriend and I came, and we looked around, where's Conway? Well, they had moved out one of the bleachers and seated 100. His career was just starting. But we came there, and he came out with 2 sidemen on electric guitar. He electrified us, and I said, that guy's going to be a big hit. Well, he was. He had some big songs. There's a place, I don't know if anybody's been, called Twitty City. Now, I don't know if that is in Nashville or in where's the place up in Missouri? Branson. Has anybody been to Twitty City? Well, anyway, here's the song. I love this song. And it's one that it's called It's Only Make Believe. And the lyrics are very adaptable in an unscrupulous way to the next topic, which is nutrition. And it goes something like this. Oh, by the way, I have a personal testimony about a disease that I'm getting. What happens, this disease comes on us as we mature and age, called Dunlap's disease. And I'm in the first stages of it. That is, my belly is Dunlapping over my belt. And so this song kind of captures that idea, and it's called It's Only Make Believe. Now, this is my testimony, perhaps not yours. People see my belly drop. They think I really am a flop, but myself I can't deceive. Not eating too much too often is only make-believe. My one and only prayer is that someday I will care. My hopes, my dreams come true, my body healthy too. Hope no one will ever know just how little nutrition I know. My only prayer will be someday a trim than me, you'll see, but it's only make-believe. With that, I'd like to introduce our next guest performer. Now, you'll recognize this man immediately. He was to be cast in a very famous movie of the 50s and 60s. It was called Muscle Beach Party. He was to play Frankie Avalon, and we have just noticed the resemblance. Frankie and Larry Grissom Avalon. It's wonderful what you can do with Photoshop Pro. You know? Cut and paste them in. Now here he is in the movie. Larry, I apologize. I'll take you to lunch. And but Frankie made it, and he didn't have to be cast there. Larry didn't, and so. And then, I thought Larry was going to do a talk and exercise and muscles and everything, but Eric's going to do that. But they didn't have to use him for that. So Larry, come on. I used to read the comic books, and this was one that I really aspired to be, but it never happened for me. But here's Larry Grissom. Give Larry a hand. Okay, before you come, Eric, I got to do another song. This is a job that I know you all don't want. I've done this. This is my third time, I guess, in 10 years to do this. And when I was assigned it for the third time, at first I was very distraught. But then I thought, I can enjoy this. And so this is why I appreciate having this job. I'm getting you as a captive audience to perform my next. So we're good to get 80 people together.